We're going to take a quick look at using the distributive property. So the distributive property can be written a couple different ways. It can be written with the product. Product means multiplication of two different expressions. In this case, a specific number and an expression with two terms. Or it can be written as a number outside of a parentheses. Both of these, if we see them written, represent multiplication. And what we are actually doing here is multiplying this number on the outside by both terms inside our parentheses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, you know what? We have a 3 times a 5/4 n. So all I'm going to do is multiply 3 times 5/4, then times n. So 3 times 5/4 is 15/4. Times n, of course, is n. And 3 times 1.8, that's a positive 1.8, there's a little plus sign in between, is going to give me a positive 5.4. And depending on your question, we may have to adjust some of these. 15/4 is the same thing as 3 3/4 n plus 5.7, or 3.75 n plus 5.4. Either one of those would work. Now, when we have a negative on the outside, it is slightly different. So let's take a look at this problem right here. And this one actually has an extra term outside my distributing right here. So we'll talk about that as well. Now I'm going to rewrite this just so I have more room to see this and look at this. So my expression here says -3 outside the parentheses of 4x minus 2, close parentheses, and then minus 2x. So we have multiple terms right here that we are going to try to get rid of and simplify and make this expression look easier. Remember, the purpose of an expression is to be able to substitute a value in for x to be able to find its value. And right now, if we wanted to substitute a value in here, it would take a while to actually solve the problem. So we are going to make it simpler so that we can plug in a value and we can actually show that it's very easy to solve here. Now, the important thing in this is that I'm actually taking this entire -3 and I'm distributing it to all terms inside the parentheses, not the terms outside, just the terms that are inside. And when I am distributing, I always need to make sure I include the sign that comes before the number or term here. So this -3 is going to be multiplied first by a positive 4x. And a positive and a negative, they have different signs. Different signs means it's going to be a negative product, -12x. And this second one here is a little bit trickier, but we actually don't treat this like a -2 here. This, we almost treat like a -2. And that's very important in actually solving this problem, because this is actually a -3 times a -2. And when we have two signs that are the same, it is a positive solution. So this is actually going to be a positive 6, not a -6. And that -2x that we had in our problem that we did not distribute, we are going to leave there alone. It does not get multiplied by the -3. It kind of was not included in that parenthesis, so we don't include it. Now, of course, we are not done with this problem. This problem still has an extra step left because we do have like terms. We see like terms between our x's right there. negative 2x and a negative 12x, we can combine. Minus 12 and minus 2, well, that's minus 14x. And we still have our plus 6, which we cannot combine. So this would be the answer to this problem. My strategy for distributing would be to make sure I always draw out these little arrows. It helps remind me that every term inside my parentheses gets multiplied by the number on the outside. Not just the first one, not just the second one, but all of them.